Today we're going to be taking a look at a new range from Shelly, the Mini range, specifically the Shelly Plus 1PM Mini. This is an increment on the original version, which is the Shelly Plus 1PM, and as you can see, it's quite a bit smaller. If you don't know what Shelly is, they do a range of smart relays and also a lot of other smart home products as well. This has got the usual protection features that you've come to expect from Shelly, so it's got over voltage protection, over current protection, and something I particularly like is also over power protection. So today we're going to talk about the specs, comparing these two, the installation and setup, integration into Home Assistant of course, and show it working with this rig, and finally the things I like and the things I don't like. So onto the specs of the device. It measures 35mm by 29mm with a depth of 16mm. It's got what I would consider a generous amperage rating of 8 amps. Considering you're going to be using it for lighting mainly, I couldn't see you getting near that, although it is half the original one, which is rated at 16 amps. The voltage range is 110 to 240, so it should work in most places. Although it doesn't mention it on here, it can also do 24 to 30 volts DC, like the original can. One thing to note is the humidity rating is a maximum 70% relative humidity, so I wouldn't use this in something like a bathroom. This is the PM version, which means it does power monitoring, which I think is very impressive for the size. It has a non-power monitoring version as well, but because it's that, it means that it's not a dry contact relay. So you just need to bear that in mind, that it has to be the same voltage for the appliance as what you're powering the device with. The microcontroller inside it is an ESP32C3, which means it's got Wi-Fi and Bluetooth low energy capability. And actually, the Home Assistant integration allows you to use Bluetooth proxies with this, which I think is amazing. There are a number of ways that you can control this device. So you've got the Shelly app. There's actually an old app called Shelly Cloud, and there's a new app called Shelly Smart Control. I believe the new app's a little bit buggy, to be honest, but thankfully they've got a web UI as well, which is what I tend to use for this if I'm controlling it directly. It's also got cloud capability, so you can connect it to Google, to Amazon, SmartThings, and it's also got webhook capability as well, so you can do something yourself. Then there's a local control, so you can do MQTT and also webhooks again, because of course you can use webhooks locally. And finally, Home Assistant. There's a great Home Assistant integration and there's a lot of documentation, so check it out. So now let's talk a bit about the installation process. Now this can vary per country, per house, per room, depending on the wiring requirements and regulations in that area, but I'm going to talk about a couple of them here, and that will give you a good idea of how you can set yours up. So in the UK, backboxes tend to vary in size, but typically they'll be 35mm deep. So that's what I've got here on this setup one. And also you might get a 25mm backbox, particularly on light switches. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to work with that. So I've got a 25mm backbox here, and if I put this in and put this fairly slim light switch on, you can see that this won't even close. So you haven't really got a chance of being able to close this and get the wiring in. So really, if you haven't got a 35mm back box, or if it isn't recessed into the wall a bit, you're going to struggle. But there are other options that we'll explore here. Also note that you do need a neutral wire for this to work. So if you haven't got a neutral in your back box, then you're out of luck. But there are some other options that we're going to explore. So in this example here, I've got it where there is a neutral wire in here. And so we can try and install it in here. And that's what we're going to do in this video. But if you haven't got that, the neutral is then typically at the light itself. So in this setup here, I've got a neutral at the light. So I'll show you here how you might be able to configure that there. With this one, it's not big enough to fit this within here, but there's a lot of light fittings in your house that you might have where it has got room to fit this in. And so you could do this method instead. And the great thing about this method is that it can also work with a two-way setup. So if you've got two switches that can turn the same light on and off, then if you install it here, it will still work. Now there were a couple of places where I was hoping to install these devices, but unfortunately there's still too many wires in the back box and I just can't fit it in. There is one place in the kitchen where I've got some Shellys at the moment, and it was a bit of a squeeze, so I'd probably want to replace those so that there's a bit more breathing room. So this is completely unplugged, and now I'm going to unscrew this. So I've now unwired the switch. This was going to the bottom of the switch and this was going to the top. So this is the live in wire, and this is the live wire, the switched live, going to the light. So I've replicated a setup here where there's a neutral available in the box so that we can use this Shelly. So this could happen perhaps where it's being used as a junction to other circuits. And so in that case, you would definitely have at least 2 wires in here. So that's why I've put 2 in here. And as you can see, it's still quite a tight squeeze really. There's not a huge amount of space to play with once we get this in. So it'll be interesting to see how difficult it is. I have used 2.5mm wire here though. And normally lighting circuits in the UK use 1.5mm. So this would be a little bit thinner and a bit easier to move. Also with this neutral, they probably wouldn't use Wago connectors. They'd probably use something like these termination blocks instead. So you can see they're a similar size though really, so not much of a space saving. So to wire this up, we need to obviously power it and we need a live and neutral. So here we're going to need an extra neutral, and from here, from the live in, we're going to need another one of those as well. So I've got some Wago connectors here and I'm going to use those. So first I'm going to replace this with the 3-way one. So now we've got the neutral side set up, we've got a neutral going to this and the others are the same as before. So we've just got a neutral in and it's going straight to the light. Now we need to do the lives. So for the live setup, this wire actually needs to stay into the bottom of the light like before, but then the output from here needs to go into the switch input in the Shelly, and then the output needs to connect to this, which is the switch live for the light. Ideally you want to get just the right length to put into these Shelly devices because they don't go in very far. And so you don't want any live showing. So I've used the bottom of the switch as a junction box for the 2 live wires. So one's going to the Shelly and one's going to the switch. So now that we have the live wired into the Shelly, we need to sort out the switching side. So we need to have this connected to the output of the Shelly from the light, and we need this switch output going into the input of the switch here. So as you can see already, it's quite a mess of wires and it's going to be quite awkward to get all this back inside here. Here you go, so I've got the Shelly in here now. I just need to get this back without bending these wires too much. When you're putting the front plate back on, make sure that the Shelly's not in the way and you haven't got any wires in the way of the screws, because you don't want them to go through anything. Whew, phew, it's done. Well, I've done a few Shelly devices over the years and they don't seem to get any easier, even with this new mini one. So I've now got the Shelly device installed into this back box here, and as you can see, it still works with the physical switch. One thing to mention, of course, is that this is AC voltage, so it's very dangerous and can kill you if you set it up incorrectly or if you touch something that you shouldn't. So I tend to use one of these AC voltage testers, which is contactless, because it's a lot safer than using a multimeter in my opinion. One thing you just need to do is you need to make sure you test it on a live circuit first so that you know that it works. And then test it on other circuits that you think are dead, and if it's dead, then nothing should happen at all. If you get a beep and it's like that, then it normally indicates that there is a circuit there, but the live isn't live itself, it's just the neutral. But you want to have it so that it's a completely dead circuit so that you're safe to work on it. Well, now that the Shelly device has got power, it should be broadcasting a Wi-Fi SSID. So now let's go through the setup process. So I'm going to connect to the Shelly's Wi-Fi access point using my phone, and then once we've done that, we're going to put in the Wi-Fi credentials for my network, and then we're going to look on the web browser and have a look around the UI. So as you can see here, I'm connected to the Shelly device, so it's broadcasting Shelly 1PM Mini, and then we need to go to an IP address of 192.168.33.1. So you can now see that the Shelly device is loaded and it says configure Wi-Fi settings, so let's do that. You want to remember to press enable Wi-Fi network here and save the settings. Now that we've done that, you can see that it shows the new IP address on my home network. So let's go to that and see if we can connect to the interface there. So we can see here that it's got output 0, it shows you the voltage as well, 246 volts, which is about right because we've got quite a high voltage here. Then if I press this, you'll see the light turns on and off. So on the left hand side we've got actions, which is the automations built into Shelly, which we're not going to be looking at because we're going to be setting it up with Home Assistant. And then you've got schedules as well, so you can set schedules for when it turns on and off. Scripts, which I've not looked into myself, I might look into that at some point. You've then got settings, so access points, so that's the access point that it broadcasts itself. Wi-Fi is connecting it to our Wi-Fi. Bluetooth, because it's an ESP32 device, then it's got Bluetooth. Here, enable Bluetooth gateway, we might need to enable that so that we can use the Bluetooth proxy in Home Assistant. What else have we got? Then the connectivity, so cloud connectivity, so if you're connecting it to Google or Amazon, etc. This will go through the Shelly cloud, of course, so you need to be comfortable with that. MQTT, which is what used to be used for the Home Assistant integration but isn't anymore. And then you can see a few other options as well, like outbound WebSockets. Range extender, I don't know if that means extend your Wi-Fi, but I wouldn't use that on this device, to be honest, because it's probably going to be in a wall where it doesn't have very good signal anyway. Now let's go back to the home screen and click into here. Confusingly, there's another set of options here. So there's another settings which is different to the settings over here. So if we click into input output settings, this is where you can set what type of switch you've got it connected to. So toggle switch is okay for me, but you've got edge switch as well, so the state changes every time you flip it, or detached switch so that you can have the relay separate to the switch, do something else. And then down at the bottom, you can decide what happens when it loses power. The next option under settings I quite like, so it's protection. So this is where you can put your over power protection, over current or over voltage. So if you're using a device that's got fairly stable power, which most devices should do to some extent, or at least have a maximum power rating, then I would put it just above that in here. And that's a safety mechanism so that if something goes wrong with the device, then the Shelly device is going to turn off automatically and hopefully protect you. On timers, this means that you can get it to turn on and off automatically after a certain period of time. So this might be good for something like an outside light where you turn it on and you just want it to stay on for say 5 minutes and then turn off again automatically. And as I mentioned, schedules and actions where you can do some automations, which we're not going to look at. Now heading into Home Assistant, I've gone to the integrations page and you can see that the Shelly has just popped up automatically and it's got a configure option. So let's press that and see what happens. So we can see that's the IP address of the device that we were at, so we know it's the right one. So down at the bottom here with the Shelly integration, I'll click this. You see there's 3 devices set up, so bedroom lamps and now the Shelly 1PM. So let's see if we can turn it on and off. Yep. And it's got the energy usage as well. Let's do that again. See if this updates. So you can see, yeah, the power is updated. This will be the energy for the day or overall energy probably. Firmware up to date, that's not quite correct because my Shelly is not connected to the internet because I blocked that on my firewall. And then there's a reboot button as well. There's also some diagnostic information which is nice, so it tells you whether it's overheating, over power or over voltage. I really like that. So now we just need to figure out how we configure the Bluetooth proxy. So if we click into Shelly up here, then it shows you all the devices that are connected to this integration, and we can do configure next to this one, and then it comes up with the Bluetooth scanning mode, so you can either do active or passive. There's not going to be an easy way for me to test this at the moment because I've got other Bluetooth proxies on my network. Well, that's about it really. So you can of course rename the device up here and rename the entity separately if you want to, and then just use it in your automations in Home Assistant. So now let's take a look at this setup whereby there's no neutral in the light switches here, but the neutral is up here. So what you can see here is on the right hand side, this is the neutral part of the wiring. So the neutral here is from the neutral from the house, and then this is the neutral from the light, goes over here, and then this is to the switch live. So this comes from these light switches here. And then whenever one of these is flicked, either one of these, it will go from being on to off. So this will be live or not live. And then this will feed power through to there, back through there, through to the neutral. The middle bit here is what they call the loop, which is basically the live, the permanent live. And so this is what you tend to feed onto the next light in the circuit. So one of these lives is from the plug socket that I've got plugged in, or did have plugged in. But typically in a house, this would be from the previous light in the circuit, unless it was the first one in the circuit, of course. And that's where, if it's the first one, you might have it in the switch instead. So we've got the live coming in here, and then it is going out to these switches, and then coming back again when you flip these on and off. And that's it really. We've got the earth here, of course, as well. So there's an earth coming again, which would be from the previous one in the circuit. And then this is going down to the back boxes here because we've got a metal back box here. So this has to be earthed. If there was a switch plate that was metal, then that would have to be earthed as well. So to connect to Shelly to this, let's pretend it's bigger and we can fit it in the light fitting. We would need to take a neutral for the Shelly, and we'd need to take a live to power the Shelly. And then we would need to take this switched live from these switches and feed that into the switch input in the Shelly. And then whenever these change, it tells us the Shelly to turn it on or off. And then also, obviously, of course, the Shelly itself can turn it on and off. And then you've got it sorted. So let's take a look. So I've got another Shelly here. So we would have the neutral wired from there to there. the live wired from there to there, and then this one coming from the switches would go into the switch input here, and then the switch output would go into here instead to the light. One thing to bear in mind is here that I've got a spare terminal for this, and that's because I'm not feeding onto another light in the circuit which you'd have in the house. So you might not have a spare, which means you'd probably need to have a connection off here into a terminal block or a Wago connector so you can power this. And obviously that would take up a little bit more space again in your light fitting. I do have some light fittings around the house that are quite big, and this would definitely work, but there's others like this where it wouldn't work, and you just clearly obviously couldn't fit this in here. So what do I like about this smart relay? Well, like a lot of Shelly products, there's a lot to like. I particularly like that you can act as a Bluetooth proxy. It might be a bit of a problem if it's in a metal back box, because Wi-Fi and Bluetooth is not good at penetrating metal. Also, the power monitoring, I really like that feature. I think it will be useful if it's not used for a light, to be honest, because I don't really use power monitoring for lights. Let me know in the comments if you do. And also, I like that it's been made as small as possible. You can see that this was already fairly small really, and considered one of the smallest in the industry at the time, but they've managed to make it smaller again, so that's quite impressive. Now let's talk about the things where there's room for improvement. So the depth of a back box in the UK is still a problem for this, as I mentioned earlier. So what I would like to see here is a switch plate. Shelly do switch plates, but it's only for the original devices at the moment. So if you've got a switch plate for this, then this might help that problem, and you might be able to get it to work into a 25mm back box. Also, it needs a neutral, as I mentioned, but apparently Shelly's working on that, so that would be great. Also, it's only got one live terminal on it, which I think is a bit of a miss, because you're always going to need another live for the switch itself. So that means you then need another terminal connector separate to this. A lot of the reasons why they have to keep coming out with new versions of these sort of things and no neutral setups, etc., is because the regulations and house builders are just not up to speed with the consumer. And so as smart homes become more common, I'm hoping that they have deeper back boxes, they're made of plastic rather than metal, so that Wi-Fi can penetrate and other wireless technologies, and that they do a few other things to think about the consumer so that it's just easy to have a smart home. If Shelly does bring out a no neutral version of this, and if they bring out a faceplate to go with it, I think it will be a killer combination, because I think you'll be able to use it in a lot of countries and places where this currently doesn't work. Well, that's it for today, so please leave your comments down below and consider subscribing if you haven't already. So thanks, until next time.